Hi, welcome to Common Core Common Sense. Today we have Shawn McMann here to tell us about what it's like to have your child in football. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you so much. All right, so how does participating in football differ from other sports? As a parent, I want to know what my child may learn or gain from participating in your sport as opposed to another one.
Well, first off, participating in any team sport is always a good idea. Now, that being said, I would say that football is the ultimate team sport because in football, you have 11 men on the field. However, if one individual does not accomplish their goal, then the other 10 fail with that one individual.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that whole team thing too because that's my next question. What does teamwork mean anymore? Because now there's this big shift to everyone's a winner. We have to build up their
Yes.
self-esteem. We can't let anyone, have hurt feelings. So how do we accommodate, the balance?
Well, teamwork is when you have a group of individuals come together on a single purpose to accomplish a goal. Now, the reason why you're so worried about team sports is because human beings are naturally social creatures. We eventually always want to come together to accomplish a goal, as I mentioned before. Now, team sports, it helps you do that because we're not all naturally good at doing such things. So once again, in the instance of football, you're constantly in stressful situations. And in the workforce, you're always having to work in stressful situations in a team. So the team sports are going to get you ready to do that later on in life.
Excellent point. Okay, what kind of time will my child spend in practice? What impact can I expect on my family?
Now, this will vary from program to program. Typically, you'll look from 2 to 3 hours after school, and obviously on Friday nights, you'll go till about 9, 10 o'clock at night. Now, that sounds like a lot of time, I know, but this can also have a positive impact on the family because it gives you something to do on Friday nights. This can be a family bonding sort of event going on.
Right, right. What physical requirements might be needed to be successful in football?
I wouldn't really say that there are physical requirements needed. I mean, there are some wanted. I mean, I'd love to have a 6'8" wide receiver. That would be lovely. But I think the stress is more on the mental capacities of determination, dedication. To me, that's more important than any physical requirement there is.
So if my child's not especially athletic, but has a real desire to play football, what could he or she do?
Well, you can learn probably one of the best life lessons there are, is that if you are truly dedicated to something, there's nothing that get in your way. And I've seen a lot of stories like that, especially in football. You have the movie Rudy. I mean, come on now. That's a perfect example.
Yep. Do you recommend additional workouts to better prepare my child? If so, what kind and where might they take place, and does it cost me extra?
Oh, of course, that's a big question. Before you get the child is in the program, the usual things is keeping your kid active, running around, riding their bike, maybe even some sit-ups and push-ups at home. That's just usually a good idea anyways. But when they're actually in the program, typically programs will have their own workout schedules. So you don't want to put too much strain on the kid outside the program. Find out what the team has in store first before you start planning any extra sort of things. And typically that doesn't cost any extra.
Excellent. All right, should I change my child's diet at all to be more successful in football?
The only quote-unquote change I would suggest is a healthy one. Stay away from the sodas. Make sure they're hydrated constantly, especially here in Florida. I mean, that's a big thing, staying hydrated. Making sure they're a well-balanced diet. So just staying healthy is key.
All right. What are the long-term benefits of playing football beyond high school or college? Are there any drawbacks my child and I should consider as we're making this decision?
I will say it is a privilege to be able to play football beyond high school. Not many people get to do it. I myself played 4 years in college, and one of the great things I had was not only just a sense of accomplishment after graduating. I was like, wow, I'm now part of an elite-specific group of individuals, collegiate athletes. And not just that sense of accomplishment, but not only that, further down the road, that could be a business connection of someone else who could be in that category. That is very important. Now, as a drawback, I really can't think of anything besides maybe a freak accident of an injury, which to me, the possibility of just that sense of accomplishment far outweighs any drawbacks you can imagine.
Okay. Uniforms. How are they provided? Who cleans them? How often?
When it comes to game uniforms, typically we will wash them and we provide them. We have people who volunteer to take care of those sort of things. Now, when it comes to practice uniforms with your jerseys and your pants and such, we do ask that the players and indirectly usually the parents end up washing them because football players can be rather fragrant after a little while.
Yeah.
But that typically it is provided by the team itself. Now, there are the rare occasions that I have heard of programs having to ask students to buy their own equipment, but that's few and far between.
Okay. All right, so let's say my child makes your team. What specifically do you want or need from me as a parent to support your team and my child?
The greatest thing any coach could ever ask is just simply that, support. Positive reinforcement at the home is the greatest thing to give your child. I mean, if you want to volunteer any extra hours with the team, doing any fundraisers and things like that, of course, that's always accepted. But at home, positive reinforcement. If you ever have questions about what's going on in the game or practices, always contact the coach or the AD directly. Don't ask through the child. Don't give them any questions of doubt or anything else like that. Always positive reinforcement is the key.
I'm glad you mentioned fundraising. So what are any expenses I might incur that I might not be aware of? Are there any membership dues or donations required? How many fundraisers might my child and I have to participate in?
Well, it kind of depends on the county that you work in. We do have pay to play, and that will range from county to county, school to school as to how much that is, from $25 to $75. I've heard in excess of $100 before.
Wow.
But that's not really a quote-unquote membership just to play football, even though football is typically the most expensive sport to play. Now, when it comes to fundraising, some schools are privileged enough to have the funds to be able to take care of everything yourself, but every place that I've coached at, that has not been the case. So we have done fundraisers such as, of course, the age-old car wash, which people have been doing since I've been born.
Yeah.
But there's also selling candy in school, value cards, things like that, but nothing that's out of sorts. We'll never ask the kids to do something that they're not comfortable with.
Okay. When exactly and how long is your season?
The official season, will start in August and usually end near late October to early November, and if you're lucky enough and or skilled enough, go into later November for the playoffs and possibly into December. But however, when we are in highly competitive places such as Florida, Texas, all those great football states, football starts to turn into a year-long thing where you're not in season all the time, but there's always kind of workouts. We do have summer workouts where for about 2 to 3 hours in the morning, the kids will come work out, run, conditioning, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Is there anything you simply want to let parents know about football that I haven't covered?
Simply put, we are on the same side. We're working together to develop these young boys into great individuals further on in life.
That says it all. Thank you so much, Shawn. I appreciate you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.